Hi, this is Katie Weeks, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm joining the Inspiration Collaboration Design team with a guest designer. Welcome to this month's Inspiration Collaboration Design Team Challenge, I guess we'll call it. And we are all making something with a kit. So I have two kits that I'm actually going to do things with. I have the Christmas Wishes kit and the Christmas Everywhere kit. So this one only had 2 cards. This one had 3 cards, and I had already kitted up the cards with all the pieces that you would need to make for each card, including its envelope. It came with a stamp set, and I did have a couple of extra pieces left over after making all of the kits. And then for the Christmas Everywhere kit, it gave you some choices. You could actually make the cards with pine trees, like you see here, or they had it so that you could make some with palm trees and cacti. So I have some of those and a few extra tidbits that were left over, plus 3 kits because this one made 3 cards. And I'm going to make Christmas tags out of these. And I'm going to try to add as few extras as possible. So I am trying to keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to use the stamp sets that came with the designated sets. And I pulled in my seasons of greetings of the season. I'm probably only going to use the to and from. I'm going to try to stick to my other stamp sets, to and from, and then I'm going to use the dies from this set. If my customers know that this one is an investment set that we use over and over, just like the nested, which one? This Nested Essentials and the Spotlight on Nature. Those were some of the other ones that were just some great investment sets. So I want to get my money's worth out of this. These are tags. I'm making tags, so it's going to be perfect. So I'm going to be using these to make my tags. So let's get started. I'm going to start by die cutting a whole bunch of these pieces to see what I can make. I have some old punches from Stampin' Up! So if I have some little tiny pieces or I need some layers, I may pull out some really old punches just because I love them. And they, again, were like some investment sets, right? So I went kind of crazy just die cutting all the pieces that I could from every envelope piece, every card, from the little placement cards that had for extra sentiments that could go inside the cards. And then I started stamping everything up. And inside this set, we did get a little ink spot that was pretty peacock with the Christmas Wishes kit. And so you can see I'm stamping Merry Christmas. I'm stamping Merry and second generation with Christmas over top of it on some of those. I just kept kind of changing it up, using that pretty peacock on all of them. And I really like how it turned out. And then I came in with the to from that was from Greetings of the Season, and I really liked the scripty to from, and I stamped that on some of these as well. Now, some of these will be on the backs, some will be on the front, and I just kind of played with stamping them, matching up and layering some of the tags, and layering all of the little ephemera pieces that came with the sets. So when you made the cards in this Christmas Wishes kit, the one had 3 strips that said Merry, Merry, Merry down the front of the card. That's why it wasn't quite deep enough for Merry Christmas, but I really liked if you stamped it in that second generation right in the middle, and then you did the full strength Christmas over top of it. I think it looks kind of nice, but that's why it wasn't quite deep enough for the sentiment Christmas, Merry Christmas, unless you really, really squeezed it together. And so I'm putting all of these sentiments on. I tried to use some of the dimensionals that came in the set because I think it gave it a really nice look to have the layers and to have some of the layers popped up. And I just layered them up, and these made really fast, beautiful cards. I think from this set with 2 cards, I ended up making 11 tags, and then I had several other little tiny pieces from those tag punches that I could also make some tags out of. And you're going to see towards the end of the video what I did with a bunch of these really tiny pieces. So it made 11 nice tags, and several of them were layered with 2 tags together because I had that gold from the envelopes, and they just made beautiful tags. They actually look very, very elegant. So when you write on Christmas tags, do you just write who the present's to, or do you write who the present is to and who it's from? I know sometimes my mom used to only write the name of the person and who it was to, and you just figured out who it was from because it was her handwriting. But I usually do the to and from, and so I went ahead and stamped both to and from on all of my tags here. Okay, now you're getting a really nice look at all of those Christmas tags, and I came in with some bling because some of them just needed a little bit more color, and so I had these gems that look like little berries. To me, it looks like Christmas berries on some of them, and they were clear, and then some of them were red, and so I went through and used those to kind of bling up these Christmas tags just a little bit. Now for the Christmas Everywhere kit, I actually had 3 different cards, and I went through and separated out all the envelopes, cards, and ephemera and put them into piles, and then I pulled apart all of the envelopes. I actually did this to the gold envelopes for the other card kit as well. And I trimmed them all up, and then I got everything ready and figured out where I could put my dies on these, and the end flaps, that's where I just punched out these little tags, and I will come and use every little bit of all those little tags. And then I have the sentiments, and I use mostly Merry Christmas and Warm Wishes. So I'm going through and stamping on these, and I had to open up my Lost Lagoon and go ahead and stamp Merry Christmas on the back, and then to and from on the back as well. And I went through and tried to match up how I wanted to layer these tags, because there were some little pieces that had pre-printed pine trees on the back, and then I stamped some more, or I layered some more ephemera ones over top of it. And so then I doubled up a lot of my tags. It just depended on what I thought would look the nicest. And so I went through and added some more stamps, and then added ephemera, and then did all of my stamping on the backs of the cards as well. And then I decided that these smaller sentiment spots would be perfect for the Warm Wishes, especially since it's a little bit shorter. It would look nice. And so I used that sentiment in these little squares with the palm trees and with the cactus. So that's how I decided which greeting to put on it. I figured if you were in a location with palm trees or a cactus, then you would probably hear warm wishes more often. And I used Merry Christmas for the ones with all the pine trees. And some of them I put like a couple palm trees, and sometimes I just put one. I just kind of varied it up so that they were all a little different. And then eventually I just got into assembly line mode and started stamping the extra pine trees, stamping the sentiments on the backs of tags, and just did multiples all at one time. That just seemed to make it go really fast and efficient for me. And then, there's those oddballs, and you really don't know how you're going to fit the sentiment on there. So I'm like, why not just turn it sideways and stamp Merry Christmas going up the side? And so I did that with some of them. I stamped pine trees on some of them. I just changed it up. And so, no, I don't think any two tags were ever really exactly alike. And I layered up some of those gold tags and little punched out ones with some of these. And then I needed some more fillers. So I grabbed the Joyful Images Ephemera pack. And this was perfect because there were so many little icons. And I could put on like reindeer. I could put on a snowman. I could put on gloves and ornaments and holly and ivy and bows and all sorts of darling little things just to kind of fill this in a little bit. And I could even pop dot a lot of those up, and I used my liquid glue to put down the things that were a little bit more delicate. But even these tiny icons were perfect for those itty bitty tags that I punched out of the flaps of the envelopes. Now I'm going to show you how I settled on tying up the ribbon. I used both some of this twine and ribbon, and I used up 3 different types of ribbon actually, but I layered them together if there were 2, and I pulled the twine through, and then I fed my ribbon through. And this ribbon is kind of sheer. It reminds me of tulle, so it's kind of sticky to work with. So I pulled that through and then made sure I kind of had it about to the middle. And then I fed the twine through itself like you normally would loop it through itself. And that secured the ribbon to the twine. And then after I pull it through, I'm struggling with it a little bit here, I pulled it through just like this, and then I pulled apart the 2 pieces of twine and then put the 2 pieces of ribbon together. See if you can see it. And then I tied the twine around the front, and I tied it a couple times so I had a good knot. And that allowed it to be real secure on the front, and it did not make it very bulky or anything like that. And then I was ready to be able to tie my bow. And that's probably the trickiest part. Sometimes I put a bow on these, but not all of them have a bow. If I had enough twine, a lot of times I tied a bow. And so I'll fuss with this a little bit. I probably should have done it with one of the other ribbons, because this real thin tulle type thing is a little harder to work with, just because it kind of gets snagged real easy and caught on the twine. But then that's how I tied my tags up. And tying the tags, honestly, I think took almost as long as making all of the tags. The little ones I did staple on just a piece of ribbon as well. That was a really fast way to add something to it. So here are all of my tags. I made 11 of them here, And then from the other set, I made 26 decent sized tags and 11 of the tiny itty bitty tags. So for a grand total of 48 tags. Make sure you check out all the other videos from the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team and our guest designer, Danielle Wagner from Danielle Scraps, who joined us for the month of October. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.